What's going on, guys? It's the Honda Baron, and today we are going to be talking about my beautiful Honda CB500X. Basically want to talk about the bike, and I know I did the review, so I'll link that up above right now. But today I want to talk about the CB500X and whether or not I think it's a good beginner bike. So I could just ramble on, could stand here and enjoy the beautiful sunsets, or we could hop on the bike and get going so I could give you guys a little bit more information about the CB500X and whether or not it's good for beginners. That's the plan right now. It's actually sweltering out. It's like, it's gotta be 30 degrees. I'm sweating here in my helmet. So I'm gonna hop on and we're gonna take off and get talking about the bike. So let's get going. Alright, so the Honda CB500X, this is my second bike. My first bike was another Honda, a CB300R, and I think that's a great beginner bike, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the CB500X. And just right off the bat, if you're in a hurry, if you don't want to watch the whole video, if you got something else to do, I'll hit you with the answer right now. Yes, I think the CB500X is a perfect motorcycle for beginners. It's cheap, it's fun to ride. There are a fair amount of them available in local markets, like local used marketplaces like Craigslist, Kijiji. Probably Honda dealers have like 1 or 2 year old models for not too much. And it's an all-around great bike. And now, overall, I wouldn't say it excels at anything. Maybe it excels at being a great budget bike. You know, it's not great for off-road, it's not great if you want to go fast, it's not great, you know, for, it's not great at any one thing in particular, but it does just about everything really well. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So, as a beginner, you're probably looking for a bike that's cheap, and these are pretty cheap. I picked this up for 3,800 Canadian, which is what, maybe probably 3,000 US. And it's 2014. It only had 10,000 kilometers on it when I got it, which I think is like 6,000 miles. For the price, I mean, it was hard to go wrong with such a beautiful, well-maintained bike. You know, the price is right. If you're looking for a budget bike, especially a bike under 5,000 or even 4,000, that you can use as a daily rider, that's fun to ride and easy to maintain. And now, so speaking about maintenance, you know, it's a Honda. These things don't need anything to go. They're really easy to maintain. They don't require a lot of maintenance. So as long as you follow the maintenance schedule for this bike, you'll be okay. I've talked about the intervals before. I think the first one's at 1,000 kilometers or 600 miles, and then it's like every 6,000 miles or 8,000 kilometers or something. Like the intervals are pretty far apart for things like oil changes. The first valve inspection I'm not doing until 24,000 kilometers, and so let's say you have to do a valve inspection every 2 years. If you ride a lot, every 24,000 kilometers, that's not a big deal. You know, you do oil changes every few thousand kilometers, lube the chain. I mean, these things are bulletproof. These Honda engines, it's the same engine in the CBR 500R as well as the CB500F. So all three of those bikes are basically the same bike. What do we got here? Accident? They looking for somebody? Uh-oh. Something's going on down there, eh? What could it be? What could it be? I guess we'll never know. Anyway, so these things barely require any maintenance to keep going. And like that's basically all there is to say. Of course, I'll update you guys if I ever have a problem with the maintenance, if something ever goes wrong with the bike. But so far in 5,000 kilometers, I've only done an oil change, and I've only done the chain maintenance, and of course, like checking the tires regularly. But that's it. That's all I've done. So for a beginner to have a low maintenance bike, like this is perfect. I mean, they are so low maintenance. They just want to be ridden. You know, so you don't need to baby it. You can just take it out, go for rides. That's it. That's all you need to worry about. And now I also find it very fun to ride. So compared to a CB300R or like a sport bike, the position is very, very comfortable. So I guess I can't really show you guys in the video, but I am sitting completely upright. So my back is up straight. I am not gripping I'm not gripping the bars like too tightly at all. There's no pressure on my wrists. I'm just sitting up here, like just enjoying the view, and it gives you a great view when you're sitting on the bike. It's much higher than my CBR. You know, I'd say definitely a few inches higher. You can see over traffic, which really helps when you're in traffic or driving through the city. And it's very comfortable for longer rides. I've had a few, you know, 500 plus kilometer days, and you know, it's like you get back, you relax for an hour after 500 kilometers, and then you just want to get back on and keep riding, right? So it's very comfortable. The leg position is like, it's not like fully like you're sitting in the chair, but there's a slight angle, but you can put your feet out on the pegs, you know, kind of like that a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that at all, but you can kind of arrange your feet on the pegs, and it just, again, it's very comfortable. With my CBR, I get like ankle pain, I get knee pain, my hips would get all, oh, the fall colors, look at that. My hips would get all tight, but on the CB500X, nothing like that. And so speaking of longer rides, yeah, so I've taken it on a few tours. I went to Ottawa and back. I did like the bulk of these kilometers in just 4 days when I went into Ottawa, and it handled beautifully. You know, all you do is stop for fuel, check the chain every, you know, 800 kilometers, and that's it. You know, I had it loaded up with luggage. I had a bunch of gear on the back, maybe like 50 pounds on the rack, but with all that, it was it still handled beautifully. I took it home on the highway. It'll sit at highway speed cruising at like 120, 130 kilometers per hour. So what's that, 80 miles per hour? 80 miles per hour? Yeah. So you can sit at cruising speed. It'll just sit there all day. Plenty of room to pass. So at 130, you know, you still got another, say, 30 or 40 kilometers of passing speed if you're on the highway and you need that. And there is a bit of like wind buffeting on the highway that I found, like coming off the visor. I've tried to fix that by lowering it. Still a tiny bit of buffering. You know, it's not like a dedicated touring bike. You know, it's not a Goldwing or anything with a huge visor. I know you can buy aftermarket visors, but that's not something I'm really looking into right now. But just for like, you know, light touring and light highway use, like if you want to use it for commuting or go on local trips, you know, it's a perfect bike for that. And so there are a ton of accessories for the bike. I think I mentioned some of these in my review. I've also linked the review down below if you want to check that out. And there's tons of accessories. So like the V-Strom and the Versys, like these are all more popular touring or adventure bikes. I guess this is kind of like an adventure bike. I would classify it more as a sport touring. You know, I'm probably wrong. What do I know? But it really, you could do anything on it. So whether you're commuting or, you know, if you want to go touring, if you want to hit the twisties and, you know, get your lean on, that's all possible with the CB500X. And so insurance, so again, another one of the costs for motorcycling. By the way, I did a video of the actual costs of motorcycling. I'll link that up in the top. Insurance is cheap. I mean, it's 500cc, so it's not like going to be outrageous for insurance when you only have a 500cc bike that's classified as, say, an adventure bike or a touring bike. At least here in Ontario anyways, I'm only paying 60 bucks a month. It's not great, not terrible, but it's not bad for this kind of bike. Another thing that makes it really good for beginners is the fact that it's very tame. So it's like I keep saying, it's just 500cc, but it's not, you know, it's got a different configuration than, say, like a Ninja or another actual 500cc sport bike. I mean, yeah, you can have fun on it, yeah, you can rip it, but it's just too tame to really get you in too much trouble. Like by the time you're at by the time you get to 100, 120, you know, if you're just trying to screw around in the city, whoa, by the time you get to those speeds, you've had fun already. No, it's not a sport bike that you're going to cruise around in first gear going 100 kilometers an hour, but it's plenty of fun if you know how to ride, and if you ride it hard, it's a lot of fun, and it's going to keep you in check. You know, as a new rider, you don't want something too outrageous or too aggressive where you're going to get in trouble riding around. that's really not going to happen on this bike. You know, you just get on, you ride, you enjoy the scenery, you enjoy the ride. That's what this bike is for. Would I say it's one of the best bikes for beginners? I don't know, did I say that at the beginning? I can't remember. Again, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for something upright, that's comfortable, easy and enjoyable to ride, if you like doing those longer distances, and if you don't mind not being able to go 0 to, you know, 100 in 3 seconds, or, you know, get to 300 kilometers an hour on the speedometer. If that's not what you're looking for and you just want something reliable, easy to maintain, and fun to ride, then yeah, this is an amazing bike for beginners, and I would wholeheartedly recommend it. A little bit of a disclaimer, I would have to say that my 300, it was a bit more fun to ride. This one, you just cruise, right? Like, you're heading out, you're going for a cruise, you know, it's the gearing is a bit better compared to the 300, but on the 300, like, you could just full throttle every gear, you know. That thing didn't want you to baby it, and that was the 300. And I kind of miss it, you know. I kind of miss giving it full throttle after every turn and not having to worry about the tire kicking out, or just hearing that sound of those smaller engines, just like the bang, bang, bang. Oh man, do I ever miss that. This is a bit quieter though. It's more of a sewing machine, so your neighbors aren't gonna get mad if you're heading out for a early morning or late night rip. So overall, like, if you're looking for your first bike, if you're looking for something to commute with, if you're looking for like a light adventure bike, you know, you want to do a little bit of trail riding, or not trail riding, but like off-roading. And yeah, if you're a beginner just looking for your first bike, I would 100% recommend the Honda CB500X. I think it's a great bike. I think everybody says this, but I definitely plan on keeping it forever, or as long as I can. I've said this in a previous video. The only change I would make would be like a lateral change. So I'd get, say, like a $600 RR, or a different sports bike, or a scooter, for example. But I will always keep this, just for everything that I mentioned, all the benefits, everything that I love about it. Overall, no complaints. I will make a video of things I don't like about this bike in the future, but for now, like I keep saying, yes, I would definitely recommend this bike for beginners. I think it is a great beginner bike, and if you do pick it up as a new rider, you are probably going to fall in love. So that's all I got for right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, drop a comment, please. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with my future videos. And yeah, beautiful sunset. I'm about to enjoy the sunset here, so hope you guys have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and we will catch you in the next video. All right, see you later.